Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Guile here, and welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series Saturday afternoon special. Bet you didn't see that coming. Well, you guys deserve it. You've been so supportive of me over the years, and especially in the last few weeks as well, since I managed to get the increased frequency in casts out to you guys. Quite frankly, you deserve every ounce of spare time that I can devote to you. And while we're on the subject of support, a few people have been querying as to why I don't talk about my Patreon campaign more often. They didn't even know I had one until they were just browsing through the information under the videos. I don't promote it like lots of other people. They promote it, you know, at the end of every video they make and all this kind of jazz. I don't promote it because it feels like I'm pressuring people, and I really don't want to be, you know, I don't want it to come across that way. I don't want it to come across that I'm money grubbing. I don't want people to feel unnecessarily obliged to donate. But it's there, and guys, if you'd like to donate, yes, it would help a lot. It's always massively appreciated, and if you don't, then that's cool too. Don't worry about it. It's all good. I'm just here to help you guys get the most out of FAF, and it's fun for me too. I'd be lying if I said it wasn't. So yeah, and they always say as well, you know, you don't update your Patreon page. Well, I sort of feel like, you know, there's no real need. Everything you need is on YouTube. I do everything through YouTube, so all I would really be doing is mirroring stuff on there. I should probably update the stretch goals and the rewards and things, but that takes a lot of time and effort, and you guys know what I'm like on that front. But anyway, there it is. So it's there if you want it in the background. Now we can get on with the action. It's going to be a ladder action this afternoon, pro level, and that's going to take place on Vya-3 Protectorate. I'm ready, you guys are ready, the players are sure as hell ready, so let's go on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So I haven't cast a game on Vya-3 Protectorate in ages. I couldn't even tell you what the last match was. It feels like an absolute age, but one match does stand out, and I'm trying to think what tourney it was now. It must have been Rise of the Immortals trophy, because it was 2v2 and it was the Brain Bunch, and I think it was probably like the quarterfinals or something like that. It was one of the ones I casted, and then I did a little roundup for the grand final where it discusses it there as well. But the Brains basically teamed up and built a Mazecom. They'd pretty much done everything they'd already needed in the first 5-10 minutes to secure the win anyway. But yeah, they had this plan that they were going to do it, and they weren't going to waste it, even though it just involved building tons of unnecessary power just so that they could get Brain Fart up to Mazecom, stealth cloaked Mazecom level, and just rolled it right into Sui and his teammates' face, and there was nothing they could do about it. But if you haven't seen it, guys, check it out, or at least check out the grand final you can find on my channel. One of the more popular vids I've done in history. But anyway, let's take a look at our players and their starting locations. I've waffled for 2 whole minutes, but at least it's given these guys a chance to get going. So down here at the bottom left, in the blue corner, we have ShadesOfBlue, and he's going UEF, opening first land, second air. And his opponent up here at the top right, in the red corner, is MayorDamage, and he is going Cybran, opening first land, second air as well. MayorDamage, I've seen, has been on the charge lately, actually. He's I've watched a few of his game. This is put up on the replay forum the other day, and I nearly cast it just from browsing the replay vaults the other days. I can't remember what my reasoning was for not, but after it was put up on the replay forum, I kind of changed my mind. Took a second look at it, so hopefully you're going to enjoy it. But anyway, we've got the first units out now for MayorDamage. A couple of hunters and a mole. Looks like they might not be trying to make an incursion into the main base itself, instead lying in wait for the engineers to come and work on these mexes. A quick snoop, though, will reveal those ones, so the cat's out of the proverbial bag up at the northern aperture there for ShadesOfBlue's base. And an attempt at a run by here around the bottom will get it in there against any other offensive units, but he won't have gone unnoticed. The snoop very well located. Quick reclaim, though, will pick off the hunter. The hunter came in to try and kill off the NG, but great work there from ShadesOfBlue, paying attention and well aware of the early risk. Meanwhile, we have one mech marine absolutely pegging it. People do say, well, I don't use tracking a bit more. There we go. Absolutely legging it. Well, I don't use tracking generally because you have to select the vision of the player. You can't do it with observer mode on generally. I didn't think. Or can you? Well, it's working now. Then you can't actually select the a new unit to do it. So yeah, you have to enter specific team mode to enable it, and then it will stay locked once you go back to observer mode. It's just a little bit of a fag. That's why I don't do it more often. That's, by the way, fag to all of you Americans out there. That's not me being pejorative against homosexuals. Fag can also mean a hassle in Great Britain. So before I get 1,000 messages about me being homophobic, there you have it. Explanation given. A couple of strikers trying to make it into the expansion of MayorDamage there, who already has quite a setup going on here. One unit of build capacity, managing to pick up the mexes, throwing down a PD, and then it's going to be working on 4 land factories. A couple of Mantis in place to brush aside that striker. Hasn't got a lot of a time before a slightly larger force arrives. Have got the engineering suites on board. The Mantis assisting the engineer there to get a little bit of extra wall sections online nice and quickly. And I like what I see down here at the bottom right. So MayorDamage really expanding out to the far corners on this map, picking up that bottom right hand corner. Has got Lobos inbound, producing engineers out of that factory for the moment. Will probably want to get to work on some Mantis pretty quickly to counter the T1 artillery pieces that are coming his way. Those strikers that look like they might have been going for that western expansion instead, going after that outpost in the center, and that Mex has 24 hit points left on it. A strong sneeze would knock it down, but ShadesOfBlue continues to roll on past it and then turns around, perhaps recognizing the horrible error of his ways. Build capacity go after some T1 PD, or start trying to construct some T1 PD, and a hoplite. That's a very nice early T2 upgrade from MayorDamage. That's going to allow him to take out these T1 units at range. They're clumped up, so they take a volley and the AoE hits all 3 of them, but then they get on the move. Meanwhile, back down here at the bottom right, 2 Mantis trying to hold off a horde of strikers. We have a T2 factory on operational down here as well, and that's producing a Rhino, and that will be more than enough to deal with what's coming, especially with the Mantis that's already in place down here. ShadesOfBlue trying to take out that T1 mass extractor. They should manage to get that, and there's a lot of vulnerable build capacity centrally in the center, but MayorDamage is quick to respond, goes after the units in a big way, and that will be the end of that particular threat. More Lobos brought in. They're streaming in from a rally point off one of these factories, I believe. One very brave striker sneaking in behind enemy lines and picking off a T1 Mex. And still, that mass extractor is alive, desperate for that engineer to repair it. My OCD in overdrive. And then all was quiet. Let's take a look at mass. ShadesOfBlue looks like he could be out in front. Well, that could have been based on reclaim. Immediately the figures change. MayorDamage now looks to be out in front. MayorDamage with quite a significant stockpile as well. Has not been spending all of his mass as and when he gets it, so that could get poured into a project reasonably quickly, but not a huge amount of mass storage. out on the map yet for our Cybran player, so that's not as much mass as you might expect it to be just by taking it at face value. In fact, we haven't really got any mass storage yet for either player. Newbies out there, it's generally best to go T1 mass extractor, upgrade it to T2, then build your mass storage around it, and then upgrade to T3. That, I believe, to be the most efficient way historically of upgrading your mass. Another reasonable force of strikers now heading towards MayorDamage's expansion over here. We've got one T1 PD, and it's not directly out in front of these factories and mass points either. It's off to one side, so careful. Bit of micro from ShadesOfBlue could get it in around outside this red line, in around here, and cause a lot of damage. Nasty amount of hoplites massing on this side of the map. A lot of T2 firepower blocking off the approach from ShadesOfBlue, who is assuming formation just under the cusp of the hill here. A couple of engineers on a reclaim mission going about their business. Ends badly for them. But caught napping is a huge quantity of engineers bombarded at range with those rockets. And another one, two more down here as well, working on a radar system. They're not going to make it home, so lots of juicy, something very satisfying about large amounts of engineers getting slaughtered. I don't know what that says about my personality. I don't think it's good. It's like one of those videos that you see, those vines of machines making chains. Or, you know, slotting things into other things. It's like, satisfying. Lots of dead engineers. Remember, it's not sadistic if they're all machines. Hoplites withdrawing in the face of a small pillar advance there. That might have opened a door further south for MayorDamage to reach out. Needs to be a little bit careful here, though. ShadesOfBlue is under shield coverage with his commander here. Quick overcharge or two will turn the tables more or less instantly. And of course we've got a triad online there as well, and another one on the way. So that wasn't really on the cards from MayorDamage. Another large quantity of engineers very confused about where they're going in life. Like an ant colony, and someone's killed the queen. No one really knows what to do next. Hoplite's not deciding to take advantage of it. Can he even see that? Well, no, he hasn't got intel on that part of the map just yet. And now it's ShadesOfBlue's turn to push forward, build capacity, building T1 PD ASAP. One of them complete, second one on the way. We've got any Lobos in the mix? That's the question. We've got one or two. ShadesOfBlue will definitely want to reform that formation, though. That is not the best angle to sit in, taking a lot of unnecessary T1 PD fire. And although the Rhinos aren't going to win out against the pillars, a lot of unnecessary UEF casualties in that engagement before ShadesOfBlue manages to withdraw. Now these pillars advancing on that wall of hoplites, but not enough of them. Hoplites skirmish as only hoplites can, and pick off the pillars as they attempt to chase. And, well, we've been yabbering down at the bottom right hand corner. MayorDamage has expanded to the top left as well, an extra 5 mass points under his control. T1 PD operational, hasn't got command of that extra mass point on the edge. That happy band of pillars somehow managing to skirt around the bottom of MayorDamage's structures, getting in around the back of his forces, but a loyalist is certainly a game changer. T3 on the field now for MayorDamage. And ShadesOfBlue's plight not enhanced by the presence of Medusas and their EMP shells, paralyzing the tanks momentarily, allowing them to absorb extra damage and preventing them from returning fire. ShadesOfBlue has made a play for the center. Have to, of course, take out the defensive structures first of all before you can go for the central mass points on this one. And there's not a lot in it in terms of map control. I'd say this is the extra advantage that MayorDamage has got up here at the top left, but it's all T1 and it's not really secured. Indeed, we've got Lobos bombarding the engineers over here now, having taken out the T1 PDs already. So take that out of the equation and it's more or less 50-50 in terms of general map control, although the middle might be about to fall thanks to some ranged attacks. So MayorDamage using hoplites to great effect in this one. 20 minutes gone so far. MayorDamage seems to be in the lead by about 30 mass or so once the reclaim is taken out of it, and overall has picked up about 4,000 or 5,000 extra mass over the course of the last 21 minutes. So ever so slightly ahead. We're now seeing T3 units on the field though for ShadesOfBlue. Those infamous Percys making their way towards the front line. Some Vipers tickling away at that exposed mass point. I can't believe it's just outside the edge of shield coverage there. Quick reclaim picks it up though before the wreck is diminished with extra missile fire. But that's an awful lot of loyalists. Loyalists that are going to struggle to contend with the firepower and range though of the Percivals. Meanwhile up here, a nice little assault on the northern base of ShadesOfBlue at the aperture to his main base. MayorDamage not looking like he's going to break through it or anything, but certainly inflicting a little bit of damage. And all of this, of course, helps to curtail ShadesOfBlue and might help promote later game map control for MayorDamage. MayorDamage has lost those mexes up at the top, but ShadesOfBlue has not gained them. So still an advantage, especially taking into account the fact that ShadesOfBlue has lost the middle. A couple of loyalists there getting overwhelmed by Lobo fire. Quite significant T1 air forces on the field, at least for ShadesOfBlue. MayorDamage with 6 T1 interceptors, and that's it. Compare that to ShadesOfBlue, who's just leapt ahead in score. He's got 71 T1 inties. Now what have we got in terms of airplay? We've got a T2 Air Factory HQ upgrade on the way there for MayorDamage, and incidentally, I've had a few people probably don't play FAF or only play FA on Steam or have only played it historically on GPG asking what the HQ is about. Well, quite simply, it's part of the FAF mod that is integrated into FAF. Many changes have been made, balance changes, but the HQ is something that needs to be built first to allow the construction of T3 units. Once you've got an HQ, you can build normal T3 factories. And the whole purpose of it is the HQ is a more expensive structure than the other ones. Now basically what you used to have is T1 factories getting constructed in the early game to build spam, but then had no real purpose because it was too expensive to go around upgrading tons and tons of factories. You'd get 1 or 2 factories being assisted by huge quantities of engineers, and that was it, and the rest of the T1 factories would just be control K'd every time. Well, this presents a different option, allows people to produce en masse much more effectively and cheaply, and it escalates the game a little bit quicker and has generally been perceived as a large enhancement or a large addition to the game. So that is basically how headquarters work, if you weren't sure. But the gap has definitely been plugged over in the west now. Large quantities of Perseus backed up with pillars and a parashield, and indeed ShadesOfBlue now pushing out in the bottom right hand corner that's looked pretty secure over the course of this one. ShadesOfBlue now ousting MayorDamage. MayorDamage coming back in now with a superior force, but all of the structures have been destroyed, and an experimental online for MayorDamage. There it is, Monkey Lord completed, and that threatens to change things up. And the T2 factory we saw was upgraded to T3, and the first thing that seems to get built is a Revenant. So Strat Bomb is now in play for MayorDamage. Could pick off a few mass points with that potentially. Remember, of course, T1 Inties not quick enough to keep up with strategic bombers, so it's tough to combat them on a straight line. First of all, doing what they can against massively superior numbers, and that thought, to be fair, that would look like a pretty significant force coming down from MayorDamage, but he hasn't managed to gain the territory or secure it at all, and in fact has been wiped out more or less in the process. ShadesOfBlue with another force coming in. It really is to and fro down in the bottom right hand corner, but this is going to be interesting. Monkey Lord on the way, and being used defensively initially by the looks of things, which I always feel is a mistake, especially when it's the first experimental on the field and it's a Monkey Lord. Throwing away that potential advantage, unless of course you know it's been spotted. You've seen flybys go past, but a nice couple of bombs dropped there by the 2 Strat Bombers, take out 2 of the 3 Perseus they were targeting. ShadesOfBlue unleashes his Air Force. He's now also up to T3. Has a handful of ASFs. One could argue that it was a pretty significant waste building all those T1 Inties. You can see them chasing the Strat Bombers there, but yeah, a waste of mass. They weren't needed. Couldn't use them offensively, but what isn't a waste of mass is a bug from MayorDamage. We've seen an awful lot of very successful plays over the last week or two with the bug. It really is becoming such a key unit in the SOCOM world, it would seem, these days. Monkey Lord rolling in, just destroying factories and mass points on its way past, and there goes the completion of the Soul Ripper. So MayorDamage looking very dangerous here at the half-an-hour mark. Causes untold amounts of devastation with the Monkey Lord and manages to escape with it with 6,800 hit points. There are Perseus in tow, but they are not going to be quick enough to catch it. Monkey Lord far too quick for that. Soul Ripper yet to take off, not been given an order. MayorDamage perhaps hoping he can gain the initiative in the air game before he exposes it to any danger, or indeed alerts ShadesOfBlue to the threat. Would you look at that? Look at all those destroyed mass points and derelict factories. That be from a TAC missile barrage or something that I missed. All is possible. Those two strat bombers still going to town. One of them with 16 kills already, the other with 3. No doubt large clumps of build capacity getting caught there. Another Percival push up in the top left-hand corner, runs into a proverbial wall of bricks. Just gotta love the Percivals though, they really are superior. As well they should be. Without them, UEF would be mute. Without the benefit of direct fire experimentals. And a large amount of build capacity airlifted to the bottom to pick up all of this mass from the T3 battles. Just get it on the ground, MayorDamage, before the transport gets shot down upon its return. Soul Ripper's been moved over to the left of the base, and it now looks like he's threatening to send it against the Percivals down here. No flak accompanying those Percivals, and ShadesOfBlue's Air Force embroiled in an air war over here. And in fact, all of the ASFs, with the exception of new ones being created over here, have been destroyed. So the Soul Ripper has free reign now to move on the Percivals up at this edge of the map. ShadesOfBlue sends in what planes he has, but quite frankly there is no need for that Soul Ripper to be heading for home. He could have finished off the rest of those Percivals with relative ease, but a Fat Boy is now online for ShadesOfBlue, and you need to cause some problems there for MayorDamage's bricks and loyalists, not wanting to expose themselves unnecessary to all that artillery fire. They're going to withdraw. Sensible decision. And now MayorDamage looking like he's getting ballsy, sending that Soul Ripper in to that forward expansion. The build capacity around the T3 factory is control K'd. But what that Soul Ripper really needs is air support, and there it is. Again, no need to be sending that out. Just keep the ASFs down here and finish off all of these buildings with the Soul Ripper. T3 mexes, T3 factories, build capacity. It's all good. It would be if it wasn't Cybern attacking a UEF. A couple of flayers over at that western outpost there, making life difficult. Soul Ripper actually has been pretty badly eaten into. 30,000 hit points remain, and now would probably be a good time to get it out of there. Fat Boy now moving in to assist the Percivals over here, which are under ground and air threat. But the only problem is the threat of Strat Bomber attack. One pass from the Strat Bombers depletes the shield, more or less. ShadesOfBlue also having power troubles there. As you can see, the Fat Boy's shield blinking on and off. There's still a little bit of shield coverage left in it, but MayorDamage peeling off some of the faster loyalists and sending them after the Fat Boy. But another wave of Strat Bombers comes in. He's going to lose all of those Strat Bombers, but one more bomb should do it, and there it is. Fat Boy destroyed. Mission accomplished. It was worth it, as they say in League. really very little has moved in this game, territorially speaking. Corners still sit very much as they did 20 minutes ago, albeit this one in control, or the grip of MayorDamage, but not actually being utilized yet. Steady stream of loyalists pouring down from the factory up here, heading off towards ShadesOfBlue's forward expansion, with the Monkey Lord now rolling in with loyalist support. Needs to focus on the Percivals, which are taking chunks out of it. That is a nice gaping hole MayorDamage has torn in the front of ShadesOfBlue's defenses, but now we have a broadsword coming in to harass the Monkey Lord. Is that going to provoke an air response? Well, not as yet. We do have some bouncers, some mobile T3 anti-air coming in to assist, and that was not retrospective. MayorDamage recognized the threat before it emerged. Soul Ripper with 57 kills to its name, just looking for an angle now, but is got latched onto by the ASFs from ShadesOfBlue, and there's nothing coming in defensively initially. And there goes the Soul Ripper. MayorDamage will respond, but it's too late. Experimental is down and out. For some reason, the broadswords didn't remain on the Monkey Lord. Pretty sure they could have killed it by now, but look out, a crab in the east. That's going to take down that T3 power plant. What's that doing to the power grid? Well, we've still got plenty of power. Oh, I say plenty, we've got enough power to be getting on with there for ShadesOfBlue. Large number of broadswords now being amassed. They latch onto the megalith, which is heading for home. Where is the air response from MayorDamage? There it is, coming in, going straight after the ASFs, leaving the broadswords to it, but the broadswords break off. That megalith still with 60,000 hit points on board. Most of ShadesOfBlue's ASFs are annihilated in the exchange, but he does, however, manage to hang on to the broadswords for a future engagement. But this is looking nasty once again for ShadesOfBlue. Needs to get the Monkey Lord in there and wipe out that bank of triads if he's to breach here. But another handful of Percivals being brought out to meet the Monkey Lord, coupled with a lot of T2 PD fire. But the broadswords brought out as well. Probably not a great idea. MayorDamage pounces on them. And then not only that, a number of bouncers in the area causing problems as well. Broadswords dropping by the minute. This time they're going after the megalith again. They're sort of bouncing between the two. Speaking of bouncing, there are too many bouncers in the area, and it's going to work out very badly. And what on earth does ShadesOfBlue respond with against that megalith once those gunships are defeated? In fact, ShadesOfBlue's ACU is under shield coverage over here, so he's going to have to pull out. Can't go toe-to-toe with that crab. 1, 2, 3, 4 T3 power plants represents the bulk of ShadesOfBlue power generation facilities. Cannot afford to lose that. ASF's brought in once again to alleviate the pressure. I don't know why he's backing out here. No need to withdraw that megalith as yet. Just focus fire on the Percivals and then go back to work on the base. Monkey Lord with 136 kills and 5 stars to its name, now approaching ShadesOfBlue, and things are starting to look a little bit daunting from ShadesOfBlue's perspective. total mass accumulated. He's actually ahead, but it's like he can't seem to contain the diversity of threat from the Cybran at the moment. He's really struggling. Needs to get air superiority and more Percival's onto the field. Another Soul Ripper, brand new online. And a nice little drop with a Deceiver on board, so cloaked from radar coverage. As soon as it's dropped off, the ASFs respond and shoot it down, but the damage is dealt. The brick is on the ground and is now encroaching on the main base. I'm sure the next broadsword that comes off the conveyor belt will be unleashed upon it, but that Monkey Lord with 157 kills is still going. It is now threatening the northerly base. Is going to roll right over the main power plant, though, and that's probably not a great idea. We'll get the power plant, but the ensuing explosion will finish off that spider bot. Meanwhile, Crab still doing good work over in the east, threatening what is arguably the most important position on the field now for Shades of Blue, the power grid. Fat Boy online, but getting a solution on the Crab, able to fire back from its current position. That brick still online with 39 kills to its name, being chased down by a Percival. Soul Ripper being used to contain the forces of Shades of Blue as they move up the field and try and counterattack. There's no way those Percivals are going to cause any damage. Very few of them likely to make it to their destination. Megalith now withdrawing under Fat Boy pressure. ASFs from Shades of Blue latching on to the Soul Ripper. MayorDamage counters and finishes off the last of Shades of Blue's planes once again. And suddenly, once again, all was quiet. 47 minutes gone. And again, yes, Shades of Blue has been under pressure, but not that much has happened in terms of territory. Only real significance of change since the last time we mentioned it was this part of Shades of Blue's base has been wiped out, and MayorDamage has tenuous control of the mass down at the bottom right hand corner, not really funneling any resources into protecting it either. Suddenly, all was quiet. Wave of spy planes out from MayorDamage. Maybe looking for a solution on the commander. There he is, in case you were wondering. Soul Ripper being brought in to go after the Fat Boy that's just strayed a little bit too far away from the base. Shield about to deplete. What are you doing? No need to retreat there. That was a dead Fat Boy. Shield just about to collapse. MayorDamage being just a little bit too cautious here for my own personal liking. Neither player committing to any direct offensive action present, but we do have an amassing of strap bombers up here at the top from MayorDamage. Wave of spy planes going out earlier, of course, right overhead of Shades of Blue's comm. We could have a snipe situation developing. Honestly, though, with his situation, MayorDamage is sitting with a comfortable lead here. Doesn't need to go for a snipe. In come the Revenants with their stealth systems activated, and they aren't going after the comm at all. They are going after the resourcing options of Shades of Blue, trying to whittle down his economy even further. They managed to pick off 3 T3 mass points, 2 or 3 T3 mass points in that exchange. Crab and Soul Ripper stationed together, facing off against a large quantity of Percivals that are advancing. While not a lot is happening on the territory side of things, it's certainly some pretty cinematic views going off, and in comes another wave of strap bombers, this time going after Shades of Blue's comm, but he's firmly under shield coverage, and he's queued up a Drake, or sorry, not a Drake, a Duke. T3 heavy artillery installation. Oh, and loses one of the power plants. Shades of Blue poured an inordinate amount of economy into the construction of those T3 power plants. Has 5k power generation on MayorDamage. But that artillery piece had not been started by that last flyby, so I'm pretty sure... Well, no, he has seen it now. So, if he's looking, MayorDamage will be aware of that threat. And it's quite a scary prospect. UEF, of course, hard to break. Shades of Blue looking pretty turtly at this point, and if he gets the ability to hit MayorDamage at range without the prospect of being countered, that would be very difficult indeed to deal with. But that megalith on 3,000 or 3,500 hit points, virtually nothing left and withdrawing. Shades of Blue not able to pursue it with anything. But this could be a defining moment in the game. Trebuchet softening up this base en masse. Percival stuck in the middle. Soul Ripper coming in from the skies. So much firepower raining down on this position. Flee, Percivals, flee! And another megalith coming in, another one. Fat Boy kills off that first megalith, but he in turn is likely to be destroyed. Soul Ripper issued with a kill order. And of course, once the shield is down, it's just a matter of seconds for its hull to fail. And now this is not looking good at all. A veritable open door on this side of things for ground forces. There's quite a lot of T3 anti-air in there, so the Soul Ripper is going to want to give it a wide berth. But Shades of Blue throws out the GG. He knows he's done. And MayorDamage pulls off the win as Shades of Blue surrenders. And I think that was probably the reason that I originally decided not to cast the game, because it just doesn't feel right. It's the money shot, right? We want to see the comm get destroyed, but ultimately still an entertaining game with lots of toys. And that T3 artillery piece was very nearly done, and of course that would have taken up a huge amount of eco for Shades of Blue, which would have really hampered his ability to fend off attacks. And that northern front was just collapsing. Ground forces would have come in, killed the flayers, and then the Soul Ripper would have been able to assist as well. And nothing left in terms of air force for ShadesOfBlue. So he was right in that it was over. 55.5 minutes, though. Just shy of Epicosity. I hope you enjoyed that, guys. I certainly did. As always, more to come from me in the future. But in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.